I think the question leading on from the speech of the Deputy Minister is why now and why Sri Lanka? Why now is clear. I think while we live in exponential times, today, the current present is an inflection point, even in a disruptive growth phase of the digital economies of the world. Why Sri Lanka, then, is the question. And we believe, and we will convince you over the next few days, that Sri Lanka is at the cusp of an exponential digital growth trajectory. How are we confident? First, the foundations. Foundations of talent, trust, 30 over years of foreign direct investment protection, and economic fundamentals that have now reached very stable levels. So we now approach a quantum leap. Based on these foundations, a quantum leap towards a whole of economy digital transformation led by a revolution in the application of digital public infrastructure, multiple policy innovations, and a firm commitment to public-private partnership. Through this combination of solid foundations and a way forward which is based on the best practice of digital transformation, we aim for a 5x growth in the digital economy, translating to a digital value creation of over $15 billion over the next 4 years. Now, why is this important? There is a value pool being created, but our startup ecosystem and our IT industries are underinvested. Is it a glass half empty or a glass half full? Would you like to enter the environment in Sri Lanka as investors when it's overinvested or when it is underinvested? And that is the call out, I believe, that you have a unique opportunity. You, all partners, both domestic and global, to partner in this next wave of Sri Lanka's growth. Sri Lanka's digital ambitions are enshrined in targets, a 5 times growth in digital economy, as I mentioned, a 3x growth in digital exports, doubling of our digital talent base, and a 25-point improvement across a multitude of digital benchmarks. And this commitment does not stop with targets. It translates into policy innovations which are built on solid foundations. The Board of Investment of Sri Lanka has a 30-plus year track record in protecting foreign direct investment into Sri Lanka. Our churn rates are extremely low, and Sri Lanka has never reneged on a foreign direct investment agreement. Repatriation of profits and proceeds is unconstrained today, even today, and you have the opportunity of siting your business in a special economic zone in the port city. Over and above this, the government is now committed to several new policy innovations which the Honorable Deputy Minister touched on earlier. And these are innovations which have been crafted collaboratively through the cooperation of the BOI, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Digital Economy. First, that up to 90% of FDI capital can be reinvested in subsidiaries of our local startups overseas. A virtual special economic zone for digital investments allowing virtual incorporation. Talent mobility within the special economic zone, and a fund of funds which was announced already by the Honorable Deputy Minister. So a whole of economy digital transformation in Sri Lanka which leverages on some solid foundations. The best GDP per capita, or the highest GDP per capita in the region, the best Gini coefficient, or rather the smoothest and most even wealth distribution in this region, a connected nation with a mobile penetration of over 130%, connected by multiple submarine cables, and a comprehensive fiber network within the country, and of course, a resilient economy now projected to grow between 4 and 5%. In addition to these foundations, in the digital space, the region's best literacy and talent per capita, the maturity of all the vertical digital solutions, as we describe Sri Lanka to be a digital brownfield with many, many centers of excellence. Payment networks which are second to none, and identity systems which are mature over the last 30 years of identity technologies and practices. Most importantly, all these trends provide a springboard for horizontal digital public infrastructure and platforming. Horizontal digital public infrastructure, which combines those centers of excellence, the silos of excellence in vertical solutions, combines them into a digital ecosystem which is powerful and fast-growing. The digital public infrastructure framework enables an open architecture, and this we will embrace through an open and API-driven approach to creating innovation platforms, AI first, cloud first, and mobile first, secure and protective of privacy by design. And this, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, will enable an innovation unlock. Because as I will show you very quickly through an exposition of Sri Lanka's digital economy blueprint, based on digital public infrastructure, as I described, we are strong on the broadband side. We are building out our clouds and AI infrastructures. Our digital solutions, our vertical digital solutions, are also strong and project islands of excellence across multiple institutions. But the key here is that the insertion of a digital public infrastructure layer covering payments, identity, data exchanges, data lakes, verifiable credentials, and a host of open infrastructures which are exposed to the startup community, exposed to the development community through an open API platform, a microservice layer, multiple APIs and AI app enablers, and thereby a service creation environment, which opens up, ladies and gentlemen, the entire engine of government, and going beyond government, the engine of public-private interoperability to the digital ecosystem, and thereby enabling the exposure of these services via multiple modes of interaction with businesses, citizens, tourists, and all forms of stakeholders in the Sri Lankan economy. We will stick to also the founding principles of inclusion, trust and governance, and build the policy, legislative, and institutional frameworks required to govern this entire blueprint. So what is Sri Lanka's digital value proposition? It's multiple dimensions, but I thought we'll stick to a few. First, talent. Second, trust. And the digital economy unlock. The region's best talent per capita. A trust environment second to none in the region, if not the world. And the fact that you're at the cusp of an unlocking of the digital economy, so that the work, the potential, the activity which is opened up at this point, and that is why now, at this point, the activity which is opened up to the digital ecosystem, combined with talent and trust, and the fact that we have access to a regional market of over 2 billion people, brings together the digital value proposition for why Sri Lanka. Starting with talent, number 3 in terms of talent affordability globally, starting with high-end talent, which is second to none in the region, if not the globe. Starting with a funnel of 36,000 entrants into the STEM space, and filtering through to well over 10,000 ready for employment, high-tech talent contributors. The talent-driven startup ecosystem has gathered momentum, but as I said earlier, is underinvested. And that is part or the major call out in terms of the proposition. Over 950 startups are active today, and 100 over tech startups have raised funds in the last 3 years. The ecosystem is also very active, with incubators, accelerators, and co-working spaces growing as we speak, and a 225% growth of this startup ecosystem over the last 3 years. Funding has begun to come in. So it's at an early stage of an exponential curve, and that is again the call out to our partners, both in the ecosystem as well as in the investing community. That's Sri Lanka, and the time is now. Several global names have been born in Sri Lanka, but several of them, as the Honorable Deputy Minister mentioned, have shifted headquarters overseas. But the fact remains that these global names and the tech behind these global names was born, created in this country. And therefore, there's no reason that this list cannot be multiplied by 10, by 20, and that they could not remain headquartered in Sri Lanka with IP, which is truly Sri Lankan, supported by global and local investors. Sri Lanka is a rising force in the startup pipeline going forward. Over 140 unique ventures have been identified through multiple accelerator initiatives over the last few months. And these are backed also by big name VCs and robust long tail investors. Sri Lanka is also home to several global competence centers and R&D centers. Moving on to trust. I said Sri Lanka is second to none in its trust environment. And today, next to talent, I believe trust is the second, if not the most important currency or calling card of any investment destination. The blue text lists out the various pieces of legislation which are already in place, many of them matured over the last decade. The yellow text, new legislation, new policies, new governance guidelines, which are in production and will be out for the community in the very near future. However, I think you would question, trust is great, but do you allow innovation? And I think the fact that Sri Lanka is adopting a soft law and innovation permissive approach to AI regulation to begin with, and digital innovation more broadly, will assure you that Sri Lanka will not only provide a strong trust foundation, but also permit innovation, enabling Sri Lankan startups, Sri Lankan innovators, and Sri Lankan enterprises, together with the government of Sri Lanka, to work together with international investors to create IP and to create solutions which are capable of winning the world. The digital economy unlock, the third component, the third wheel, talent, trust, and this breakout of digital potential, which the digital economy strategy of the government of Sri Lanka is triggering at this point in time. A strong commitment to the premise that government will remain an enabler, and an enabler which is bold enough to change the tide of how IT systems are architected, how data is shared, how data is governed, and how the ecosystem is driven forward. DPI is at the core, and API and service marketplace approach, which I mentioned earlier, opening up the entire government digital ecosystem to developers, and likewise interoperating with the private sector at ease and with very low friction. So bringing together the strength of Sri Lanka's private sector, the enabler of the government public sector, and creating an open and democratized access to the capture of digital value. Here I'm referring to the opening of government opportunity, the opportunity to serve government, to build government systems, to innovate for government, opening this up to businesses of all sizes, or IT businesses of all sizes. And this accumulates in that 15 billion over economic value creation opportunity via the digital drive. And I'll ask you, ladies and gentlemen, who is going to capture this 15 billion over opportunity? Someone will capture it, because the government of Sri Lanka will make this happen. Now the question is, who will capture it? And I believe that those who enter the market in Sri Lanka now, capitalize the talent here in Sri Lanka now, will reap the rewards of this opportunity in the years to come. As I said, the government is committed to being an enabler, and this is an approach of being a platform on which the private and the startup sectors, foreign investors can perform, can create, can enable further innovation, and government will provide both the legislative, the trust, the DPIs, and the innovation framework and enablers to make it as frictionless as possible for the other participants in the ecosystem. And the paradigm is build no more than 20%, enable much more than 80%. And that is hard set in the principles behind the digital economy framework that we have put in place, the government of Sri Lanka. And this 2080, or government as a platform approach, will translate into investment multipliers. So those who invest early on a platform which gives you that enablement and the opportunity to grow and create will be able to maximize the outcome of the risk-return sharing on the table, the public-private partnership opportunities, and also the value creation through democratized access to the digitization opportunities which are opened up. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again, at the risk of being repetitive, place on the table the key propositions which you should explore during disruptation, and be satisfied yourself that Sri Lanka has the best talent, that Sri Lanka has the region's, if not globally competitive, trust environment, that there is an exponential curve ahead of us in terms of the unleashing of digital economy potential. In addition to, of course, that our beautiful island nation sits in a region which is rich in opportunity and economic growth in its own right, with a population of over 2 billion people. So welcome to Sri Lanka, enjoy this conference, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.